Hello and welcome to this special episode with me, Nikhil Naz, where I tell you some interesting sports, cricket related stories. And today, because there's a picture of mine that I put on social media, and after I put that picture, I got asked a lot of questions on social media. So I thought I'll make a video about it. And why is it that this particular picture attracted a lot of interest from a lot of cricket fans, not just in India, across the globe? It's simply because it was a picture with a player who's no doubt a legend, but also someone who's spotted on cameras or in the media very rarely. We rarely get to know what he's up to, which part of the world he is in, what is he doing, what his future is about, what's he thinking, what his current plans are. None of that you get to know because he's so elusive, so rare to catch, and no prizes for guessing. I'm talking about Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And so I had the opportunity of catching up with the man that is MS Dhoni. So firstly, that picture was taken on the 23rd of January 2023. I happened to be in Ranchi for some work, and if you're in Ranchi and if you're a cricket nut like me, you're not going to miss out on an opportunity of meeting MS Dhoni, especially when I found out that when I was there in Ranchi, he was also there in Ranchi. So I made it a point to meet him. Getting to him is not easy, but the one advantage I have over a lot of other people is because I've known him. So just for your reference, I was there in Bangladesh when he's made his debut, and over the years, I saw that transition from very close, being a player, a wicketkeeper, batsman, then becoming a captain, then becoming a senior player. All of that I was fortunate enough to see it from very close quarters because I was a cricket journalist, and at that time I used to travel a lot. So over the years I spent a lot of time with him, chatting, sometime in hotels, sometimes in the grounds, whatever little opportunity I got, I could meet up with him and talk to him. But then he left international cricket. Also my traveling for international tournaments reduced, so I couldn't meet him much. The last time I met him was actually not during a cricket tournament. That was 2018, almost about 4-5 years ago. And that too, I bumped into him in a place in Bombay. He was busy with a shoot and I just happened to be there. So I met him and we exchanged our pleasantries. I just had a brief 2-minute conversation because there were other people, so I really couldn't get any insight into him. This time I have to thank him. He was gracious enough, kind enough to give me a good 1.5-2 hours of personal time where nobody disturbed us. We sat, we had a cup of coffees and some biscuits with it, and talked about everything under the sun. So, very casual conversation. As I said, I just bumped into him in Ranchi again, and I asked him for a time. So let me just give you a background. I was in Ranchi for some work, and I just happened to be at the ground, and guess who I saw at the ground, the Jharkhand Cricket Association Stadium? It was MS Dhoni practicing. I went up to him, he saw me and he was pretty surprised that I was there, but he thought I'd come to cover the match, which I had not. So then I asked him that, we had a brief chat as we always did whenever I caught him at a press conference or a training session. But since there was nobody around, no media, nobody to disturb him, I said that, I want to sit with you and have a long chat over a cup of coffee or something. And he was kind enough. He said, okay. 2 days later, 21st I met him, 23rd he said, let's catch up for coffee. And on 23rd at the promised time, he came, we met, we sat in a enclosed room having coffee. So, and I know a lot of you, more than my experience of meeting him, I'm sure what you really want to know at the moment is what is he up to, what is his cricketing future, how is he looking. So I saw him very closely batting for 2 days. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you. He's started his practice slowly and gradually getting into the groove of playing cricket. So he spent a lot of time in the nets. So the 2 days that I saw him practice, very close, and there was nobody around, just MS Dhoni, a few net bowlers, and just a couple of groundsmen and me. So I had access to watching him so closely. One interesting bit was that he was only practicing against spinners. So there were a few leggies that were bowling to him, a couple of left-arm spinners, all must have been state level under 19 bowlers, all good bowlers. There was one leggy who was pretty nippy, could get some good bounce, was really turning the ball. There was a left-arm spinner, tall, lanky, 6 feet 3 inch, bowling really well. So young kids who were bowling to him. So first thing that I noticed that he did not practice against fast bowlers, only against spinners. So he's gradually getting into the groove of getting back into the IPL. So just to let you know, also he wasn't trying too many adventurous shots that he was practicing. So 40 minutes he batted for both days. Again, not a very long extended batting session. I think he's taking it slowly, gradually, easy. And I think his batting timing and sessions and intensity will increase. But because these are the first few sessions he's having after a long layoff, so there were about 40 odd minutes. He would keep a track of time, and only against spinners. Again, as I said, not too many adventurous strokes he was trying. Just defending a lot of balls, driving a lot of balls, putting a few back foot punches, a few drives. Of course, once in a while where it was in his slot, he would really hit a big six as well. But primarily just, getting the feel of the ground, of getting his feet moving, sometime, coming down the wicket to reach the pitch of the ball, sometime going back. So just getting into the groove slowly and gradually. Then when I had the conversation, I kind of found out what his plan is going to be like. So I think the CSK team are going to have their proper camp from first week of March. And then so IPL is going to start, I think, end of March or early April. So about a month long or 3 week, 4 week camp that they'll have. And that's when I think the intense training is going to happen. Right now he's training by himself, playing against only spinners. I think faster bowlers and all and medium pacers will come later. I spoke to him about how his health is like. So he's been saying that, he's 42 and he's had a bit of a trouble with his knee recently. So he's telling me about it. He was playing a lot of badminton. So he plays a lot of badminton in that sporting facility in Ranchi. He said, but I've reduced my badminton a bit because of my knee issues at the moment. Then he started playing tennis a bit, which is slightly easier on his knee, but he's kind of tapered off tennis also. Right now he's doing some gym work and doing some batting and slowly getting into the groove. Now to share some insight as to the big question, I know a lot of you are going to ask whether this is his IPL season. What I can confirm to you is it's not necessary that this is his IPL season. I think what Mahi is going to do is going to take his time. I think he's going to assess his body of how it holds up during this IPL season and then take a call. If he feels that maybe it's the end of his cricketing career or cricketing cycle, then he may decide and then announce later that this is his last IPL season. But if his body holds up, who knows, he'll play another season and maybe another season, we don't know. I think that's a decision he'll take. But he's also going to be assessing how his body is going to be holding up. And if you're going to, I know the next question on your mind would be that if he wants to assess his body, why not assess it now and get to know? And he shared very interesting things with me when we were chatting over coffee. He said that, see, my body weight, MS's body weight, he said naturally my body weight is 90 kilos. So it's not that he's put on weight or he's put on a lot of fat and he's not exercising, so he's 90. No, he's just a big unit. So, and why is his weight 90? Even though he's not a very tall guy, he must be 5 feet 8, 5'8" and a half, 5'9" at best. So not a very tall guy, but still 90 kilos. But he's not fat, so his body fat is very low. In fact, I must tell you, when I saw him batting in the nets, he looked supremely fit, nicely, muscled body that he's made in the gym. You can make out from his arms, his chest, his posture. So was looking pretty lean from his face. If you see that picture also that I clicked with him, pretty lean overall, but his natural body weight is around 90 kilos. For example, I'm about a couple of inches shorter than him, but my natural body weight is around 70. His is 90. But it's not that he's fat. It's why? Because one, he's got large muscles, he's got big size, heavy muscles. And secondly, his bone weight is also there. So he's a big guy. Now, what he tried to explain to me why he'll need to assess his body during IPL is that he says because he's 90 kilo, the load on his joints is a lot. Like someone like me who's 70, my joints are not going to take too much of load, So I'm around the same age, a few years elder than him. So, my joints are going to be, age-wise same around MS. But because I'm lighter, my natural body weight is less, the load on my joint will be less. For him, because heavier weight, load will be more. Now, what happens, he said that all this while, that heavy body weight he could manage because he was playing continuous international cricket. Now what happens, he says that he's the kind of a guy who doesn't do too much gym work to strengthen his muscles. His muscles were strong because he was playing non-stop cricket, and because of practicing and playing cricket, those muscles were strong and were able to support his joints. What happens now, because he's not playing regular international cricket, those muscles tend to become slightly weaker compared to before. What happens then, they don't support the joints that much, and then the aches and creaks in the joints happen when you start playing the full season. So he's saying that he's working those muscles in the gym with gym training, but gym training cannot replicate actual match training or match practice. So because he's not doing that regularly, he doesn't know whether his muscles will be strong enough to hold a full season and hold his joints and various other things. So that's very insightful, and he'll only get a better picture once he starts playing the IPL. Then he'll know what his body shape is at the moment and can he push himself for another year or not. So that's his status as of now, whether you get to see him playing, whether this is his last IPL or the next, nobody knows. I think even MS doesn't know the answer to it right now, and at the end of this season probably you'll get to know the answer to that. Other than that, we spoke about a lot of things that are personal conversation that will remain with me forever. Some things I can share with you. There's another passion that both of us share, and because it's a common thing, so we can talk a lot about it, and that's motorbikes. So I asked him, what his motorbike collection is, because at one point it was 50 something, then I heard it swelled up to 60 something. So currently his motorbike stock is 84 bikes he's got, all shapes and varieties, 84 of them. And the maximum that he's got is one of my favorite bikes. If you grew up in the 80s like Mahi and me, you'd know. Any biker loved it. That was the RD350. I think he's got about 24 of those at the moment, 24. And I'm a big motorhead. I'm a huge biker myself, but I'll have to tell you that when it comes to MS Dhoni, he's just on another level. Like, if I'm enthusiast standard this, then he's enthusiast standard somewhere there, like some 10 steps ahead. Because while I enjoy riding my motorcycles, I enjoy reading about them, I know different models and everything, he's so good with it that he even understands the working of a motorcycle. He can, like, you've seen it in the past on social media, completely deassemble a motorbike, make it into small parts and put it together. He can do that. He can take a motorbike if he likes, like an RD350, if it's lying in the junk, he can bring it and restore the entire bike, make it into working condition all by himself. He doesn't need anybody's help. He just understands, and he's also modernized some of those RD350s, slowly and gradually. So two-stroke bikes, if you're a biker, I also love two-stroke bikes, and he loves it too. And the good thing is, he's not obsessed with only, a lot of people I see who are bike enthusiasts have a lot of money, so they're only obsessed with expensive and rich and exotic bikes. While he has all of those, his true love can be seen from the fact that he loves even like simple bikes, like single cylinder bikes. He absolutely loves single cylinder bikes. Like, because he's associated with TVS, TVS Apache, which is a regular bike. He just loves it. He rides that so many times. RD350, as I mentioned, 350cc. He's got 1000cc bikes, but he loves the 350cc bike, So he's a true enthusiast. He was telling me about, because I own a Kawasaki, he was telling me about a very interesting Kawasaki which you don't get in India, which is a 4-cylinder 250cc, which you get abroad. And he absolutely loves that bike, and was hoping that if he ever comes to India, he'll get a chance to ride it. So he's an actual biking nut. I spoke to him a lot about his love for motorcycle, and because we share that same passion, we bonded over that. His other love is the army, He's still so passionate about it. He's in the paras, and he said that it's been now 2 years since he hasn't been able to go to his unit and serve. But he's eagerly waiting, and he's like, if I get some free time, I will want to go in and serve my unit. So that passion still remains till the time. But I know a lot of you would want to know that what is keeping him so busy. Why is it that he couldn't go to the army, and what is he doing? So, he was roughly telling me that he wants to spend a lot of time with his friends. So he's a month in the UK with some friends, a month in the US with friends, a month in Dubai with some friends. Then about 2 months to 3 months, 4 months now, IPL takes. So, and then he's about 2 months of brand time that he has to give to all the brands that endorse him. And the remaining couple of months that he gets, he wants to spend in Ranchi, because one thing he made very clear, that he wants to spend a lot of time with his parents. The parents are aging, and he's traveled all his, adult years playing cricket, and now that he's got time, he wants to spend a lot of time at home with his parents, with his dogs, with his horses, all of that. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see him so much in public, because he wants to spend a lot of time at home. And so that has been something that has occupied a lot of his time. So that's the other thing that we spoke about, his passion, that is motorbikes, his passion which is army. And I spoke to him about what was he doing during Corona and things like that. And he told me that, there were 19 people. Now he stays in a farmhouse, all of you know, in Ranchi. 19 of them. That includes only few family members, his parents, wife, daughter, him. But, his staff, and he's like, that was like all a big family, and we would all sit together and eat. We had all the food supplies at home. So he's just telling me how he spent his time during the Corona also, which is very interesting. The other passion that he has, and both of us share, and was a common ground we spoke about, is football. That football was his first love. So I spoke to him about the World Cup, in which he told me that I asked him that he enjoyed the World Cup, and he said, yeah, I was in Dubai. So he was in Dubai. So I said, you should have gone to Qatar, so close from there. He says, no. He said, I wanted Messi to win the World Cup. The first few matches I saw of his on television, and he became so superstitious that he wanted Messi to win, that he said, after that I didn't even go to a restaurant or a bar or any sort of place outside or a stadium, and I watched every match just in the house in Dubai only, because he said I just wanted Messi to win the World Cup. So he said that's the one thing that I wanted to happen. And so he was very happy. He enjoyed the entire World Cup, and I told him that I was in Qatar and I saw all the games up close. So I asked him, why didn't he go? He said, no, just happy watching it from home. We were then talking about Messi, what makes Messi great. And, again, his insight into football also very interesting. He was talking about, he's like, Messi doesn't do too many trickeries like Ronaldo would do with the ball, things like that. He says, majority of the time you'll see Messi, one, he's short, so center of gravity is a lot. That's why he can dodge a lot of players. Then the other thing he was talking about, is body dodges, which is amazing. Like, he uses a lot of his body to dodge players. So he said, look at him, like Kylian Mbappe has pace. Messi doesn't have that pace now. He's aging. But he says, he uses experience, body dodges, center of gravity so well to do well. And he can yet, at that age, where he's now nowhere close to some of the youngsters, still be one of the best, because he has other aspects to his game that make him so formidable. And one thing both of us agreed on, I think the greatest quality of Messi is actually, not just his dribbling skills or his, stunning goals, free kicks, all of that, but his assists, his passes that he sees. And both of us were talking, and, we were gushing over the angles that he can see between 3 or 4 players where the gap is. And as MS pointed out in that conversation, he said, not just the angle, but, he knows when to chip the ball, when to hit it on the ground, when he has to make that pass for a goal. And that weight of the pass. So, a lesser player will see the gap and he may want to pass, but the weight of the pass could be sometimes slow. If it's slow, then defender will come and intercept it. If it's very hard, then even your player cannot collect it. It goes away from him. So you need to hit it with the right weight, the right speed to give that pass so that it's a perfect pass. And Messi's ability to have that weight on the pass perfect so that the defender can't come and so that it's not too hard for his teammate also. That perfect balance, I think that's what makes Messi incredible, and that's what MS was talking about. So just some of his passion that we spoke about. Otherwise, he's, as I said, chilling, does some gym, is doing net practice, getting up to play in the IPL. This is something that we didn't talk about, but I'm sure must be on his mind. 4 titles. I'm sure before he signs off, he wants to make it 5 and tie it with Mumbai Indians as the most successful IPL team. That must be on his mind. So all in all I can say is I was privileged enough to spend that much time with the man, the legend, who you don't get to hear pretty often. And I spoke to him about sometime criticism, and I may have also criticized him sometime in the media on my reportage over the years. I can't remember. I must have. But he holds no grudge. He sees you, he knows you from those many years. He understands you have a job to do, and he understands everyone is doing something. And when he's meeting you, he's so warm and nice and gives full attention to you. So that I was privileged enough to do. I hope you enjoyed this story. as much as I enjoyed my time with MS Dhoni, I hope I could share some insights into the man that is MS Dhoni, what his mindset is at the moment, what he's thinking about the future. Because as I said at the start of the video, we don't get to know much about him. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, press a like on this video. That really means a lot to us. If you press that like button, share it with your friends, they'd enjoy. And subscribe to Sports Today for more such content. Nikhil Naz signing off. Bye-bye.